We are here too. Oh, that was not a good one. It was a punch sound. A new punch sound that just did not punch the way I thought it was going to punch.
It did not hit correctly.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Y'all, it is Friday, and you know that means LinkedIn Loaded is here with Fraser and myself, just here to talk about what is actually going on in the market right now. And we try to keep it as high level as we can and stay out of the drama the best that we can. But we also know that based on the roles that we have, drama tends to follow. So with that said, I would like to dive right into it, Fraser.
Let's do it.
We got a new car today for the family.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I got to go pick it up after this. Well, Suburban.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no choice. We're starting to.
I was gonna say
you don't have a choice anymore. Huh? Well, I couldn't do it. I'm not gonna lie. We did. We looked at it, and I just said, I promised myself when I was 15 years old that I would never go down this path. So I convinced her, and we got the Suburban. So hopefully she loves it. Lauren, we will see. We'll test it out here after this call. But with that, want to dive right in to today. And listen, for this one, I want to pull up the document because I do want to make sure that I'm going through it correctly. So I want to talk about Rocket Mortgage's recent earnings report. And I am going to read directly from the earnings report. And this isn't, you guys have to understand that I'm at a place in my life, and Fraser is too. I understand business is business. You know, there isn't, if you continue to take it personal, you're going to be on this emotional roller coaster that's going to just drive you up the wall, and it'll eat at your soul. So business is business when I say this, and people are going to make smart moves. Let's start with this. Rocket is not dumb. Okay. I worked there for 6.5 years. I learned a lot working there and understanding. One of the biggest things I learned, though, was cross-selling. And when I had my recent acquisition with NerdWallet, the exact same situation. Businesses come in, as you acquire more and more businesses, you want to be able to cross-sell to your audience inside of those businesses. That's what helps make the entire business profitable. And so, for example, insurance, title, whatever it might be, if you do a mortgage is tied to a majority of big transactions. And so people really want to push cross-selling if you're buying companies. So here we go. I'm going to read these earnings report for you. In my opinion, by the way, I think this is one of the most revealing documents in the mortgage industry today. I truly believe that if you have the time, go read it. Rocket direct to consumer, Fraser. Are you ready? And this is for, I believe, Q2. Yep, Q2 2026. Okay. Rocket direct to consumer, $26 billion in rate lock volume, 4.13% gain on sale margin. Rocket Pro, $10.9 billion in rate lock volume, 0.69 gain on sale margin. So 4.13 for direct to consumer, 0.69 for gain on sale margin. Now, Rocket says in there, I want you to understand, and this is right from their earnings report. Rocket says those lower wholesale margins were driven by investments designed to attract new partners to Rocket. So why invest so heavily inside of wholesale? And now I have all this data. I pull a lot more. I do have HMDA data on my end that we get through Polygon Research. Shout out to them. They are incredible. Many companies use them. So here we go. Ready? Rocket services $2 trillion across 9.1 million loans and specifically identifies servicing as one of its biggest opportunities for future recapture. They describe, this is their words, Fraser, their servicing platform as creating a unified client foundation that strengthens long-term engagement through data and technology. Now, ready for this? This is right from them. Their retail division, their direct-to-consumer, their AI tools now reprioritize customers throughout the day, allowing loan officers using the platform to handle nearly 40% more clients. 40% more clients because of their AI and how much they're learning. And I'm going to walk you through how that works. It is learning their systems. It is learning the behaviors of their loan officers inside of retail. It is also now learning how brokers operate because the brokers that are sending them all that business. They're buying your business to understand the data. That I get why they're doing that, right? That makes sense from a business standpoint. But here's what you have to understand. What else does Rocket own? They own Rocket Mortgage, Rocket Pro, Redfin, Rocket Close, Rocket Loans, Rocket Money. And in their earnings report, Rocket Money generates recurring subscription revenue while expanding their relationships with consumers beyond mortgage. Fraser, I have been receiving Facebook after Facebook ads about Rocket Money. They have 11,000 likes, 13,000 likes. I was at the gym this morning at Lifetime. At Lifetime this morning, I was at the gym, and guess what was there? Guess what was there? The biggest drama kings I've met. Holden, we love you. We love you. But at the gym today, Rocket Money, right there. Rocket Money on the screen in front of me. Rocket Mortgage followed up right after. And consumers have no idea it's the same companies that own all of it. Joy, numbers do not lie. You are a bundle of joy, and we agree with you on that.
She is.
So think about that for a second. They own all of those, and I get it. It's the business side of it. Now, here's this part's going to blow your minds. Ready? More than 160 million client calls every year that they review. That's more than 30 petabytes of data. So, Fraser, 30 petabytes of data. Let me break this down for you. If you were to turn that into photos, like photos you take on your phone, and you assume that each photo you take is 4 megabytes, you know how many photos that is that you get to review in a year? If you had to guess?
I'd probably say about, I don't know,
7.5 billion.
I was close. I said 5 billion.
That's not bad. You were close. You were way closer than I would have been. I have it in front of me. But 7.5 billion photos is what they review every year, and then they use their AI to improve. So look, I'm not here to criticize Rocket. I'm giving them credit for the smart business strategy. But here's all I'm going to say to you. If you are a broker willing to make, or if you are a mortgage broker, understand they are buying your business. That's what they're doing because they can, because of retail and what they have. And they're doing it because they want to continue to understand how the market is going to move. And nobody can figure that out better because of all the different platforms that they own. They can see consumer behavior at the highest level possible. So, Fraser, my question to you is, do you think Rocket's building one of the strongest ecosystems in housing for future recapture?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here really is the tale of two ecosystems that are, well, one has been building for a long time. One is actually used the other one to look at their playbook, look at their mistakes, and do better. So Zillow being one of them, and then Rocket being the other. And none of this is to your point, like we're not criticizing anything. It's just understanding what we're coming up against, right? Because at some point we're going to have to compete with these companies that we're actually paying to build them up, right? And again, this isn't someone's evil. This isn't someone stupid. It's just an understanding of how our industry operates. Zillow has already proven that the industry will gladly give them the power and the control as long as they get fed, right? And we're seeing that now, right? We see that now. We see agents like, can I do this, or how do I do this with this, or what? They're basically letting Zillow dictate how they run their business because they use Zillow's portal, right? Zillow reviews, all of that stuff. So we already see that now. And then we got people giving up 40% of their commissions. There's another post. Some people don't know that. If you're in Zillow Flex, that's a 2-year commitment. So if they do another deal, guess what? And you do that, that's another 40% of your commission. A lot of people don't know that, right? And it's in the contract. So all of this to a company that basically just came in and owned it. And I did the stats. I did a post on this so people understood like how quickly Zillow really did unseat an industry that's been around for over a century within 2 years, essentially. And Rocket, they've been, I've always said this, Rocket is maybe a lot of different things, but they're not stupid, right? And and they have the best marketing in the industry, bar none, right? Now, you may not like Rocket, you may disagree with that. That's okay too. You're wrong, but that's okay, right? That's okay too. But ultimately, we have to understand, and there's proof of this, of companies that have done what they can to buy the market, be the friend to whatever until things get lean. And then what happens is that at some point, the business is going to be a business, right? So if that gain on sale, for example, continues to not go up and even go down because of investments, shareholders are going to have something to say about that, right? And we've already seen this with companies that are no longer here. A perfect example is HomePoint, right? with their servicing and trying to do recapture, but it's a loss leader. My friends, I've been on that side. I'm telling you right now, at some point, a business is like, we can't lose any more money just for the sake of partnership. Right. And so they'll do what every business do. And if I was running Rocket or part of this whole thing, I would be doing exactly the same thing. Right? Why would I not? Because it's easy, right? It's easy because it's like, hey, we'll give you great tech. We'll do all this stuff or whatever. And then at some point it's going to happen. And that's just going to be the business. We also saw it when Loan Depot went out of wholesale, right? All that data that went in the Mellow Home. Do you think they just threw that away because it was the broker data? No, they freaking used it, right? Like all of this is like documented. And again, not to throw shade on anyone. That's just business. And so you got to understand what ecosystem you're creating by doing that. And look, if you're like, hey, it helps me and I'm only looking for the next few years or whatever, then I get it, right? You're going to, hey, however I could do the best business and use whatever. But what I don't want is this is what I don't want. I don't want in, 36 months, I don't want to hear brokers say a damn thing about it, right? Just like we see, every time I see an agent talk about Zillow, shut up. You had your shot. You could have done it.
Clip it, Dax, clip it. Save this.
Yeah, you had your shot, right? When I hear agent, you guys had your shot. NAR, realtor.com, you guys had your shot to not allow that. But you decided, oh, they get us leads and hey, they're going to be a good partner and this and that. It's like that frog, right, in the pot and you slow boil, right? It's the same thing. So I don't want to hear brokers complain about anything in 3 years, 36 months. Oh, wow, I wish we had, because look at what's happening with Zillow now. That is the future when you do that. And look, here's also what I'm gonna tell you guys, right? If you guys get in, well, I don't want to, some people are like, well, I don't want to, give money to a company that competes with me, this or that or whatever. Guys, look, it all goes downstream. At some point, your loan is going to hit a company. 93% of wholesale volume is going to go through an IMB or someone with retention at some point downstream. So guys, you can't escape it, but you can choose which one is going to give you a better opportunity to compete and sustain your business in the future. And that's all we're talking about. It's just again, just go in with eyes all open. Do whatever you want to do, but don't do what agents are doing today, which is complaining. I can't believe I have to do this. I can't believe I have to do this. You basically just say, hey, come on in. They basically let Zillow be, Dave Chappelle playing Rick James at Eddie Murphy's house, right? On the couch, right? That's what's happening happily. So that's all I got to say on that.
Well, what did the 5 fingers say in the face?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorite skits of all time.
Charlie Murphy.
R.I.P. Charlie Murphy. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Prince.
Yep.
One of the best things ever. Y'all, and Fraser, I love it. And Dax, I do hope you clip that because you are spot on. And my thing is, where it's and look, if you just say, John, look, I just want the best pricing right now. It's hard right now, and I really don't care. Then it's no problem. That is a fair statement to make. Okay, if you're like, I need to put food on my table, you have to look out for number one. Totally get it. But if you're not that broker and you're the broker that is online and you post and you say, we have to stop racing to the bottom as a community, because I hear that all the time. Don't cut your service. Don't cut your value. We must charge. You must make sure they understand your benefit and cut them off if it doesn't work out or if they treat you the wrong way. If that's how you think as a broker, which I think that way personally. But then on the flip side, you say, yeah, but for my clients, I don't care. And in return, you're like, I just want the low pricing. But then that same company that's learning from you is then charging 413 basis points on every deal. That is what you're pumping money into. I just want you to understand that. And if you're cool with that and comfortable with that, I just want you to understand the reality of what you're doing. And that's what you're doing. You are teaching them how to compete against you. And if you think for a second that they're not, I just read it to you and I'm going to read it one more time. Okay, I'm going to read it one more time from their earnings report. I'm not making this up. Here it is. They describe their servicing platform as creating a unified client foundation that strengthens long-term engagement through data and technology, and specifically identifies servicing of one of its biggest opportunities for future recapture. That's what they're telling their investors. So I don't care what they tell you at any event or anytime they connect with you. That's what they're saying to their investors. And if that's not a big deal to you, so be it. They are good at what they do. They're smart. They have the capital and the money to press forward. But I will tell you this: going through all the ads that have popped up, stopping at gas stations, I've been taking so many snapshots. I mean, you cannot compete from a branding perspective at all. You don't have a shot in the dark. Because here's the truth. Let's just say the market stays like this for 7 more years. Many people in the community, retail and broker, are going to exit. Yep. They're going to have no choice. It's just the reality if the units stay the way that they are over time. Now, I know things will change, but let's just assume that for 7 years, it stays exactly what it is. The ones who survive are the ones that have the money to survive. You know who has the money to survive? Well, you're looking at them.
Yep.
We're talking about them. So that's my take on it. Fraser, thank you. That's just the earnings report. Just read it for yourselves. Take a look and do what you believe is best for your business, but make sure you understand all of the data. And I'm giving you facts. I'm not speaking out of term here. I'm reading directly from the report. Now, onto something fun, Fraser, that right up your alley here. So I just want to read these stats, if that's okay with you, and then just kind of have you dive in. So you took a little flack a couple days ago. You've been posting just about like what you're seeing. You're not saying, people took it as you're posting that what I say goes and I know what I'm doing. You literally just said, this is somebody I'm reviewing. So from an engagement standpoint, over the last 28 days, Jason has generated 222,856 profile views, 31,941 forms of engagement, with 103 new followers. Now, you have been coming in hot. Can you walk us through just what you're dealing with what you're seeing and how you're getting this traction?
Yeah, and there's a couple things here, right? And here's the biggest thing, that I'm talking about, guys. And just to reference my post, at the end of the day, take it or leave it. Like either believe it, don't believe it, whatever. I'm not trying to persuade you either way. I'm just trying to give you information as I see it. And anyone that's been around me for any period of time knows that I'm not out here trying to be right. I'm just out here trying to be effective, right? And there's a difference with that. Now, my biggest superpower is I'm willing to be wrong, right? And a lot of you are not, right? And don't get me wrong, like I don't want to be wrong. I hate being wrong, but I'm willing to. So I'm willing to say things. I'm willing to take risks and be bold, right? And let the chips fall where they're made. Now, I've had a pretty good track record, but ultimately it comes down to this, is that what I see out there is I see a lot of people trying to help loan officers for an industry that doesn't exist anymore, for consumerism that doesn't exist anymore, for the internet that doesn't exist anymore. Right. And I get it. They don't know how to do anything different because that's what they've always done. And they've had good success in those areas doing it. But when I share something, and my whole point is that there is a whole subset of, and these are the people I focus on. There is a whole subset of loan officers out there right now that want to do better. Right. And they're trying to do better, but they're not getting the problem. And this is across every brand, every lender. So if you're a lender saying, no, we train our people, no, your company too, right? I got them from every major company. And again, it's not your fault. It's sometimes the message or it's the messenger, right? And ultimately where I see it is it's like you got the bottom and then you have the top producers. And the people that I'm talking to and trying to help, they're not trying to set the world on fire, right? They're just trying to build a consistent 3 to 5, maybe 10 unit. Now I got people that are doing, 150, 200 units too, right? That's what their goal is. But these other people, they're not trying to be that, right? They're just trying to create a sustainable business that makes them happy, pays their bills, puts money away, pays for their vacation, stuff for their kids, whatever it is, like just we all do when we get jobs, right? And so these people felt left behind. And these people are like, I don't need to see another top producer panel because give me a mid-level producer panel. Give me a struggling and I created something producer panel. But no, we keep doing this and it's the same people, the same stuff. And guys, don't get me wrong. I like a lot of these top producer panels are my people and I love them. They're great people. It's not like they don't have value. They do. But these other people, they just don't read that. In fact, it pushes them further behind. And so when I put out like trying to keep up with the Joneses, there's a guy I know, loan officer I've known for 12 years, right? A really good guy. He doesn't put himself out there. You wouldn't even know him. Even if I said his name, I have no idea who this guy is, right? Quiet. But I put out his production numbers and I did it. And again, I did it in a way, not saying this is the only way. He doesn't coach with me. So there was literally no benefit to me by putting this out there other than to say whatever you've been told as the only way or the way, right, is not true, right? There are many ways to be successful in this business. So if all you do as coaches is annoy agents and call them every Monday, right? Guess what? There's other ways to not. This guy doesn't do that, right? So who's right? Who's wrong? We're both right. We're both wrong. Who gives a shit, right? At the end of the day, what are we talking about, right? I don't know if we're able to cuss on here, but I apologize if we're not. But when it comes down to it, is that, and I get it because I had a message from, and I appreciate that he actually reached out because he got kind of, I don't say chesty, but he was, I think, a little pointed in his comments. And what he was saying is like, I just kept looking for the hook or the lead or the whatever. And so I get it, right? And yeah, the pushback on the one monitor, right? I figured that one would get him. But look, it's not like he's got a 14-inch CRT, right? He's got a nice little curved monitor. I only have one monitor too. It's curved, right? But it's like, this is what, so you see this post. And again, guys, look, I am not throwing shade on anyone here. I'm just explaining what the loan officers I'm helping see and what they're relaying to me. Because again, like Jonathan said, I'm just relaying because I talk to a lot of loan officers every single day, every single week, every single month. And so what they're saying is like, all I see is this post. This guy's got like 6 monitors, right? And he's got like MBS Live and all this other stuff, right? And I'm just saying, you don't need any of that. You don't. Now, for that, whoever individual is doing that, they need that, right? And hopefully it works for them, right? Or they're just flexing. But either way, that's what we see. That's what they see. And so they say, I need all these things. I need to do all that. I need to go on A. You don't need to do any of that, right? And so that's why what I focus on is I don't focus on just the numbers, even though the numbers speak for themselves, right? I focus on the business, right? I do things differently. I focus on the things that are actually going to help them with their mental toughness, right? All of these things, because this is what they need to know. And that's what resonates with them because I'm saying it in a way that matters to them because I've helped a lot of different people at a lot of different stages of their career, right? Including myself, right? Just, I fallen down. I failed. I've lost money. I've done a lot of stuff, right? And so what I'm trying to get by is that if you can't look at these posts and just like debate and like argue or I'd prove it, or especially when there's no benefit to me, like I don't need to prove anything to anybody. Like I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking to sign up for my thing. Guy doesn't even coach with me. He's a BRO guy, by referral only, Joseph Stumpf. Like for those of you that go way back in the industry, you know who that is, right? You're laughing right now, but that's who he used, right? And so you're going to see all these stuff. And I get it. Everyone's a business. Everyone's trying to make money, me included, right? That's what we're all trying to do that. But I just do it in a different way. And so I always say, like, if I'm selling something or I'm trying to pitch, join my coaching group or this or that or whatever, right? For the companies that I'm consulting with, then it's going to be obvious because I'm going to say it and say why it is, right? But I'll stand behind it. I'll show you. And if you need proof, then if I tell you, hey, I saw this guy and this and that, right? I'll show you exactly what he did. And then even when I do that, you still don't believe it. You still question, well, I want to know exactly what he's saying on this stuff. And it's like, all right, well, let's go back to grade school and figure out how to talk to people, right? So like at some point, guys, you got to take responsibility knowing, and this, I'll leave it on this, right? Sorry, I went on the tangent, but I'll leave it on this because I left this with my group, with the still standing group on Thursday. All right. And here's what I'll say. If all of the tactics and strategies that you've been force-fed for the last decade plus, if you've been in the industry, the agents, the buying lead, all of this stuff, if you've been force-fed with that, posting flyers, all of that stuff, why are we having this conversation? Why aren't you all doing 10 units a month? Why aren't you all doing 15 or 20 units? If it all works and it all works great, then why aren't you all doing that? And, oh, you are doing that. Well, how come you're not seeing the same success? Right? So I think at some point we need to realize, like, does it work for some people? Absolutely. Does it not work for other people? Absolutely. Right? And so that's the problem these days is everyone thinks there's one way of only doing it. And my friends, at the end of the day, I'm not putting a blocker between my money and the broker, meaning I don't want the broker to put an obstacle from talking with the consumer, right? Because then you succeed power, right? You give away your control. And at the end of the day, the consumer should be with a mortgage professional first before an agent. Right. And that's my belief. That's what I do. And so the information that I put out there is for one purpose and one purpose only. And that is help you all get better. Where you agree with me or not, I don't really care. Right. I'm not here to prove anything to you, but I'm happy to debate or have a conversation to anyone and anywhere at any time about these things if you feel strongly about it.
Yes. Thank you, Dax. Yes.
That was a bigger one.
Way better. Yeah. Way better, Dax. I got nothing. Nothing. I mean, it's incredible. And again, the thing I love, man, I love about what you say is you literally are just posting about what you're hearing, and other people are getting upset.
Yeah, right?
It's the craziest thing to me.
I'm sorry this guy's doing well, doing something you don't believe in. I'm sorry that that's happening, right?
That's what he's doing. What do you want from me? I'm just telling you what he's done.
All right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we're gonna finish this off here. I put together a few questions, Fraser, and I'll start with you on this one. So 3 questions this week. First one. What's something you think people massively overcomplicate because the simple answer is uncomfortable?
Easily. Well, I think it encompasses a lot of things, but it's reaching out to people that you've lost contact with, right? I massively overcomplicate scripts and this and strategies or whatever because it's uncomfortable because they don't know what to say and it's been a long time. And at the end of the day, I say, look, the worst case scenario, you're in it right now. So you make the call, nothing worse can happen than the position because right now you get 0 value, got no contact. Worst case scenario. So you call them, you got at least a 50-50 chance of actually making that better.
That's a great one. Yeah. What kind of person is the most dangerous to have around you in business? Not because they're incompetent, but because they're convincing.
Oh man, I would say geez, that's a good one. Man, dangerous around the business because they're convincing. I would say the person that has all the ideas but takes no ownership of actually getting the shit done.
Number 3. What's a decision you think more people should make with less information instead of waiting for certainty that never comes?
Doing the video, posting a video.
That was 100%. I figured it would be something content related for you.
Yeah. Easy. All right. For you, what do we got? All right. So what's something you've gotten really good at that you now think might actually be holding you back?
So I just thought about this. So my willingness to want to argue with certain people is the best way for me to describe it. I just feel like there might be opportunities now where, 20-year-old, 21-year-old hot-headed John could probably get more out of a conversation by going much harder at somebody. I just am at a place in my life where I have to allocate my time accordingly, but I have gotten good at ignoring bullshit, if you can't tell by me being in the role that I'm in. But not engaging with the stupidity. Sometimes I feel like I should be doing that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. All right, so here's a really good one. Is when does self-aware become just another excuse for not actually changing?
When you're comfortable with where you're at. Like if you're just saying, "Oh, this is just how I am," that tells me that you are done changing. It really is. Like when I was 22, 23, 25, even 26. What am I talking about? This is so recent for me. If we're being honest about it. Yeah. But there was no way, this is just how I am. I'm just aggressive. I'm just, crazy. I'm just relentless pursuit, just trying to get through a wall. I wasn't ready to grow. I wasn't ready to change. I wasn't ready to mature. There's so much that goes into it. And that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yep. All right. Final one. What truth about people took you way too long to understand, but once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it?
Thanks, Kurt. I love you, buddy. So maybe we can discuss it with it will have a lot of. We have to look at my mom used to always tell me growing up, wait until you have kids. I'm going to make this one more personal.
Yep.
And I would always tell her, like, what do you mean? I'm going to love them. I'm going to take care. I'm going to I'm going to all this. I get it now more than ever, just my twins are in like starting school. Basically, I worry about them when they're gone, when they're coming home, and all the other activities that they do. I was so wrong. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, I get it now. Granted, my mom was telling me that when I was 12. All right. I love you, Mom. I grew up in an Arab household. Okay. Marriage was like, you got kids in marriage. I'm 12. But that was the biggest thing for me. It's been really incredible, and I can never unsee it. And I think about how I'm going to explain that to my kids. So that's the one for me.
Take it. Great answer.
Awesome. Y'all, happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Tune in next week for Linked and Loaded. Frazier and I are out. Take care.